Well, if you know our story, we sold everything, bought a travel trailer, and we traveled around the country and saw some nice sights and places that we had never seen before and had a really good time. But now we're back here in Oregon. We're taking care of family while trying to figure out what to do next. But RV life has its problems. While doing maintenance on the travel trailer, we found a leak. And this is this story as it unfolds. Hang on. All right, so this is the Rec Pro half inch. This is a half-inch nipple. You can see that there's tension. It will not fit in there. This is the cord coming in from the trailer. This is what we had, just blew out of our water heater. This is the half-inch nipple, and there's no tension at all in that. There's no tension at all. Size difference, half inch. This one is slightly bigger. It's a half inch plus a 1/16. Slightly bigger. Can you zoom in on that? Hit the 3. You can see that it is slightly bigger. Again, half inch. Slides in and out. No tension. Popped right off the fitting. Here's the Rec Pro half inch. It won't go in without working it. Alrighty, so what you're seeing here is all this braided tubing. It's the white and the light colored red. It's not the PEX. The PEX is the solid red and blue, but it's this braided tubing. Now all the braided tubing that I can see in my trailer is Camco, except the funny thing is I think the red doesn't actually say Camco on it, but the white has the Camco markings all on it. So the assumption is that the red and white both are Camco, but I can't guarantee that's the case. So what's going to happen is that all the tubing, the braided tubing, which has the potential of being all the wrong size. Some of the things that they said that could have been the issue was that the tubing got stretched or it got froze and then expanded. So whatever the case is, a lot of this tubing that you're seeing right here in this video is going to be replaced with the PEX. So but it's not all going to be replaced. So that's my biggest concern. There are still poor connections that I see that I'm not a fan of, that I'm going to have to probably live with and cross my fingers that leaks don't happen as we travel. Like that connection right there that you're seeing, that's a really bad fitting that they used there. It doesn't swivel. So they tightened it up on the faucet, and then they attached the tubing to it. But if that fitting ever comes loose, then I basically have to turn the clamp, and that's going to create a loose fitting. It's just bad. So anyways, I'll show you what all this looks like when it's done. Well, after conversations with Forest River, sending them pictures, showing them that we have some issues with leaks, that the tubing says half-inch ID, but it's actually 9/16, that these flex tubings are leaking right at these clamps, which aren't supposed to be clamps necessarily, but they're probably the best thing right now because I've tried hose clamps and other people have had no problems. Mine blew right off by the water heater when it's pressurized. So a guy's coming out from Forest River today. It's supposed to be no cost out of my pocket. And he's going to replace a lot of my flex tubing with PEX. He says it's going to take 2 to 3 hours. I'm thinking because of where it's at, it's going to be more of a nightmare. He says he has to remove my water heater. Nightmare. Gas water heater, electric. Sounds like it's that alone right there. Just removing this and reconnecting that sounds like an hour's worth of work right there to me. Anyways, he's going to be here pretty quick. He's going to try and replace maybe some of these lines in here, these braided ones, which he wants those back. Some of those braided ones down there. I'll let him do his job, his work. Fortunately, he's lucky because it's in the barn. And he can do most of his work today because it is raining today. And he's not here yet, but he's supposed to be here anytime. So we'll see what happens. Just crossing my fingers that, you know, my problem is, you know, pressurizing these lines for a day or even for a few minutes while he's here and he says, oh, no leaks, good to go. Doesn't mean anything because your trailer vibrates. When we get on the road, everything that he did is susceptible to leaking when we hit the road. And I will let you know too that a lot of your fittings and connections, when these were put on, they were tight, but as you travel, as this heats and cools in hot weather and hot water, these will loosen up over time and you're going to get leakage. So whatever he does today isn't going to be necessarily a fix-all, but we are crossing our fingers that what he does today will solve the issue. So when we're all done, I'll look over and I'll kind of go over and show you what he replaced. We'll see what happens. I don't think he's going to replace too much, but we will see. All right, so what he replaced was the incoming tubing from the city pressurized. He redid all of this around here. He only added the PEX. So he added this PEX right here. He added these PEX right here. He added the PEX down here. But see, you can see I still have the braided tubing going in various places. Now his logic and thought process is that the pressurized line, the water that's coming in here, it's going to go into the water filter and then back out to the trailer. What these other lines are is water that's being sucked in by the pump, not necessarily pressurized. So he only focused on what was being pressurized and replacing that. So I'm going to cross my fingers that this stuff holds because these are really crappy. Oops, I'm so sorry. These are really crappy. This being bubbled up like that, not cut right, not right to the end. You know, I'm just crossing my fingers. All right, let's go take a look under the sink. So this is where the leak actually happened, was right there. Now you can see I actually have a Govee. I have actually those Govee water sensors everywhere. I have about 12 of them. Seriously, 12. I have, I usually keep 2 in here. There's one more around the corner. I have them by the outside kitchen. I have them in the pass-through because I had water leakage there. I have a couple over by the water pump, one by the bathroom sink, and maybe one more over here, but I've got them everywhere. And what's nice about those Govee water sensors is not only do they sound an alarm inside this unit, but they also will send you an email alert. Your phone will vibrate, and it'll vibrate like 4 or 5 times to get your attention to it. And then you'll get an email alert. It has an app. It'll show you. So if you label those, like see, I labeled that one. That one says FAR water heater. And you can label it on the app, and you'll know exactly which water sensor is going off. So if you're away from your trailer, as long as your trailer has Wi-Fi and you have the Wi-Fi sensor, which mine's right there. That's the gateway. Then you'll have a water sensor Wi-Fi unit that will monitor your water while you're away from the trailer. And that's a plus win-win. So getting back to this, he replaced the red tubing here, the blue tubing, and then he had to go. I'm going to try and turn this in here. I'm not going to be able to see very well. But that tubing was really hard to get to. Obviously, the connection down there, sorry, folks, down there, there's a water sensor down there. So that's why he had to pull the water heater out. And it was basically to get to those fittings back there, because it was just so tight and all of this was just tight. So he had to remove the water heater, which actually did not fire correctly after it was a problem. So that was not firing, and it had to be like reset. But anyways, he also replaced the water. He also replaced the 2 braided lines that were in my outside kitchen. And those, I'll show you that in a second. So those guys, this is why the trailers are like so difficult. This is where I'm at right now. This is the oven, and these are the kitchen drawers, and the outside kitchen actually is right back behind there. But see that red line? That red line right there, and there's a blue line that runs right, you can't see it, but it's right there. That goes to the kitchen. Those were braided lines, so he had to get in through my drawers here and replace that line and a coupler back into the main unit back there of PEX. So he replaced all of that. Oh, I see water. I think right now I see water. Oh, I tell you, problems never stop. Never stop. I'm seeing water right down there underneath that blue tube. RV life. The problems never stop. All right. Well, that's the tubing that he replaced, and it's been now about 2 months. 2 months since he's replaced it. I haven't had any problems, but we haven't been on the road, and it hasn't been jiggling around and vibrating around. But that leak right there that I'm seeing is that's the first time I've seen it. And it's in the most worst possible spot it could ever be in. Now I got to find out where that water is coming from. Because literally that is under the, well, that's the, right next to that, that's the furnace right next to it. And next to the furnace, left of it, is the water heater. And the kitchen sink is over here underneath this. All right. Well, that's the end of this video, RV Life. But the thing is with this, what I wanted to bring up to you is that a lot of these travel trailers are probably 100% across the manufacturers and across the different brands are using that Camco tubing, braided tubing, and you might have that same problem where the tubing is the wrong size. So just a heads up. I don't know how many trailers that you sent out with that tubing was the wrong size, but you're probably gonna have a lot of leaks out there. So I hope it doesn't happen to anybody out there. Just thought I'd make this video and share with you some of the problems of RV life and what we got to go through. I was fortunate enough that the manufacturer paid for this fix, and I was out of warranty at the time that the fix happened. So this is something that they're gonna go back after, I think, Camco, and try to do some investigating to see why the tubing was so thin. It was not the interior, the inner dimension, the ID, the inner diameter was not a 1/2 inch. It was a little bit bigger, and that was just enough to cause problems. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. We're gonna get. I'm hoping to get out and go melee detecting here real quick. So, catch you later. Thanks for watching.